Welcome, everybody, to We Geek Podcast. Today is Wednesday, July 6th. You're listening to us on the N.FM, and we're going to talk about some geeky stuff. Got not that much news. Normally it's full of movie news, but there's not that much. It's been kind of a short week, but I see you've been busy watching some movies.
Yeah, I did quite a. They should put a plaque on the wall at my local marquee for me.
Yeah, man. I saw you watched a whole bunch this weekend.
Yeah, I did four back to back to back to
Oh,
back.
wow.
Right? Yeah, okay. had to do that math in my head. I was like, wait a minute, how many movies?
4 back to back. That's crazy. Oh man. So how were they?
They were kind of a mixed bag.
Okay.
Most of them were good. So that was a plus.
Okay. Well, what movies did you see?
So let me do them in order. I did Now You See Me 2, The Conjuring 2, Independence Day 2, there's a theme here, and Central Intelligence.
Oh man, that's awesome. You know what? I've heard nothing but bad things about Independence Day 2, but I still want to see it. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, it's definitely, I don't know why, but it's like I need to see it for myself, kind of thing.
Yeah, that was kind of my mindset going into it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What are some upcoming movies? What's coming out soon? I think there's Star Trek.
Yeah, at some point near future.
Star Trek's got to be the next big one, and
Couple
Suicide Squad.
Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah. I definitely want to see that in the theater too. I think there's a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of heat that film's getting, and it has to do with the fact that it doesn't look that good. Stacked on everything else.
Yeah, I think the original Backlash, of course, was garbage. And then
Right.
when they showed the first trailer, I was kind of like, "Aw."
Right, it was disappointing. You didn't want to feed it because, yeah, a lot of people were insecure that it was a whole female cast and everything else. And, I was like, okay, as long as it's funny, I don't care. And yeah, the trailer, the first trailer looked bad. The second one looked a little bit better. I think it's going to be okay. I don't think, the trailer looks okay to me, if that makes sense. And that's not good if you're a Ghostbusters fan, but I'll be real. I was never that big of a Ghostbusters fan. I think it was a year or two before my time. I think when we were born, it was like you were either a Ghostbusters fan or you were really into Ninja Turtles. And I was the kid that was always into Ninja Turtles. It was my brother that was 2 years older than me that loved Ghostbusters, if that made sense.
I was born after you, and I grew up in a Ghostbusters home.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't my thing. It was all about Ninja Turtles and stuff. Yeah. I don't know.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the first one was good. I didn't like the second one.
Not a lot of people did. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think what other movies come out. I think there's
Well, what's the new Bryan Cranston one? The Infiltrator, right?
Infiltrator. Yeah, I might see that in the theater.
That could be interesting. I could go either way on where I want to see it, but I do want to see it.
Yeah. One thing I am gonna watch this week though is that Marco Polo season 2 just dropped on Netflix. So I'm pumped for that. I don't know. Did you ever see the first season?
I didn't. No.
Oh man, it was good. It was one of those, like, it took an episode or two to kind of get your footing. But I loved where it went. I loved the actors in it and just what it built up to. And I love those, like, historical shows where it was like just completely different time period, just this, and it was such a, I don't know, it's epic. And I absolutely loved it. So I'm curious to see what they do with season 2. I don't know. I'm excited for that. I'm surprised it got a season 2 too.
Well, cause it was really expensive, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was super expensive. And I'm just surprised it did. But I loved the first season. I wanted a season 2. The way the first season left off, I was like, no, I need to see what happens after this. And it's just really cool. It's definitely a story of a stranger in a strange land, pretty much. And it's great. But yeah, I started watching. God, I haven't watched much this week. Actually, I caught up with wrestling. But that's about it, dude. Like, I haven't seen any movies, really anything. I played a game called Inside. I'll talk about that later.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. It's only for Xbox. It's the people who did Limbo.
Limbo. That was I couldn't remember what their first one was.
Yeah, and I never really played Limbo. And I don't know what I was doing, and I saw that like IGN gave it a 10, and all these other gaming sites and people were just talking about how great it was, the Giant Bomb cast. They're like, yes, this is perfect. They gave it like the full 5 stars or whatever.
Wow.
And like every side was either 9, 9.5, 10. So I was like, okay, I gotta check this out, and it's super fun. It's short. I guess Limbo was short too.
From my memory, I don't think I ever finished it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's short. I mean, it's maybe 4 or 5 hours. But the mechanics in it, like I don't want to spoil anything. But it really made me think. Like I was like, okay, this is like a platformer. Oh, there's little puzzle things that you have to solve in order to move forward. Things kill you in really grotesque ways. Um, and like the way you use the environment, it's like a 2.5D. The way you use the environment, the way things work, and again, I don't want to spoil anything, but it gets crazy, and it never really repeats itself. It kind of teaches you something, and then maybe the next puzzle you'll see kind of the same thing, but it's different, and you're like, oh, okay, how do I manipulate this? And so like, it's hard to explain, but it's really fun.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was like $20 or something, so it was a good time. Playing some Rocket League. We need to play some multiplayer Rocket League, so you get your trophy.
Yeah, totally.
How was your fourth?
I was good. I worked, so it was
Ah,
fun.
yeah. No, I hung out with the fam, my grandfather, and then went and saw my mom and my brothers and stuff, and then went to a lake here, Lake Eola in Orlando. Watched fireworks and hung out with a bunch of friends and stuff. It was fun. But yeah, dude, I never really go out for 4th of July anymore. But I was like, you know what? Need to get outside. Need to do something. But I'm glad I did it. It was a lot of fun, and I kept talking to my buddies that I went with there. One of my friends, good friends that I went with, he's into wrestling, and he brought along his buddy, and he's really into wrestling. So like we ended up talking about that for like 30 minutes when we were walking from place to place.
Nice.
And yeah, it was really fun. And because if you guys don't know, I live in Orlando, so I know WrestleMania is coming here, and so we were kind of just planning. I guess he can get tickets for cheap, so I was like, all right, let me know whatever you need. And let's get them all together, so when we go, or we have all the same seats and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, so that might be a thing. We'll see, but that'd be awesome. First wrestling event, WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's a hell of a way to start. Like,
You're right. Oh yeah.
and I'm telling you, do the Monday Night Raw the night after. That, like, WrestleMania is a big spectacle and everything, and it'll be awesome. The Raw the following night, which will still be in Orlando, you
Oh wow.
you have to go to that. You absolutely must. The Raws after WrestleMania have become legendary.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't
Yes.
know that. Okay,
Yes.
definitely.
That's I would do, like, if somebody gave me a choice, they were like, you could have a mediocre ticket for WrestleMania or you could have a great ticket for Raw the following night. I would do Raw the following night.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you've got it. That is an absolute must. It
Hmm.
won't be like they're not going to hold it. I get, where are they doing it? Like, it wouldn't be.
Well, they're doing it at the Citrus Bowl for WrestleMania. I imagine it will be at the Amway Arena.
Yeah, it'll be the Amway for Raw.
Right.
That you've got to do that. You have to do Raw the next night.
Right.
Not
And,
not just because, like, the actual show will be awesome, but those crowds, Jesus, they started a few years ago in, where was it? I guess when they did it at the Meadowlands, when they
okay.
did Mania at the Meadowlands, they did Raw the following night. I don't know where, and that was where Fandangoing got started. And
Oh wow.
everybody was like, what the hell is this crowd on? Is there something in the water? What is this? And every year, the night after WrestleMania, the crowds at Raw have just been have tried to one up each other every year. It's insane, and I love it.
Yeah, it's like the after party.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out, man. I'm pretty excited. But yeah, dude, I had a blast fourth. And yeah, man, just been hanging out. Yeah, it's been a week. but but yeah, dude, okay. So we've talked a lot about what we've been doing. Let's get into some news, and then we'll kind of come back to the movies and everything, the games and whatever we played. Um, we don't have that much movie news. But right off the top, we got Pacific Rim 2. It's actually happening. um, and it gets a release date February 22nd, 2018.
23rd.
23rd? Oh, I read that wrong. Whoops. But yeah, the 23rd.
So yeah, we went for a couple months there where we didn't have any Pacific Rim 2 news, and I felt a little lost. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Oh yeah.
We don't have any updates on like it's happening, it's not happening. It could be happening. Here's some art for this thing that might be happening. It's not happening. Hey, it's happening.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Are you familiar with Jesse Cox, like Total Biscuit Jesse Cox, those YouTubers?
Not really.
Real fast story that I heard. Jesse Cox, huge YouTuber. I think he has like the most subscribed people on Twitch. He got to start with Total Biscuit really when they did World of Warcraft. Anyways, big deal. He went to E3. And of course he gets behind the scenes and all the other stuff. And he was on a plane, apparently ran into John Boyega. Now, Jesse Cox also has like a podcast that has nothing, just is Star Wars books. Him and his buddies get around and talk about Star Wars books. All the new ones. Huge Star Wars fan. Said, oh my god, I got to meet John Boyega, and it was not a good experience.
Really?
I had no idea. Apparently, he has a huge ego.
Really?
And I've never heard of this. And then I went and looked it up online, and I guess it's like everywhere. I had no idea. I guess just because of what happened with his big deal with Star Wars, and it's kind of disappointing, And he kind of was like, never meet your heroes. That was basically Jesse Cox's thing. He was like, never meet your heroes because it's just not fun. I guess he was on a plane and he saw John Boyega and he was like, hey man, I'm a big fan. And he just looked at him and said no and turned his head. I was like, oh my god, that sucks. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that sucks. But like, how, like, so many, like acting heroes, especially like Harrison Ford, is kind of famously not a real warm and fuzzy person, for example.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly. And that's the thing I kept thinking. I was like, when you see them in front of cameras, they seem so nice and humble. And legitimate, except for you're right, Harrison Ford. Anywhere he goes,
he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. And I just thought, oh, that kind of sucks. Like, maybe it is true. Don't meet your heroes; they'll disappoint you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, it kind of deflated, a little bit for him. But I'm interested to see him in that, because that's gonna be like Star Wars. He did a film or two before this, right? So that was popular. Star Wars was the breakout hit for him. So it's gonna be interesting seeing him to tackle another major franchise, right?
Yeah. Or something that they're hoping is a major franchise.
Right. It's definitely got me excited about it. I mean, this has been well documented. I thought the first one was okay. I didn't think it was this great thing that everyone else did, but this got me interested when I was like, oh, he's gonna be in it. Okay, I'm down. That sounds great. But we got some Wreck-It Ralph news. Disney confirms sequel is in production. Will release March 9th, 2018.
Did you see the announcement video for this?
I didn't. Tell me about it.
That's the most awkward thing ever.
What was it?
Well, because it was I think it was like the director and the writer or co-directors, I forget who they were, and they're talking about, hey, we're so and so for Disney and we have this exciting news, blah blah blah, and then like John C. Reilly just kind of walks through the shot. And then he's just like, hey guys, and like, hi John, and then they go back to talking about the thing, and then he walks through like 20 seconds later. I was like, oh, that's cute, that's real fun, blah blah blah, And then like when it comes time to actually announce the thing, and he's standing there and he's got the big Wreck-It Ralph hands on and everything, like pink Hulk hands basically,
Hmm.
and it's like the most unenthusiastic thing ever. It's kind of sad, like especially from John C. Riley. Like he's I you would think he would just kind of be bouncing off the walls electric
Right.
usually anyway. But like it was like he was trying really hard to be excited and was just it was like he was just spinning his wheels.
Yeah.
And like that made me sad because I was like, John, where's the energy? Come on, man, excited. I'm gonna wreck it. Come on, let's have it. And they had
Right.
the one thing they did like at the very end was kind of neat because they were like they did like a big 3 count. It was like, come on, because he did like, I'm gonna wreck it. They're like, no, John, more energy, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna wreck it. They were like, no, 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 come on, a real big one on the 3, and they did 1, 2, 3, and he did it, and there was a bunch of kids in a room behind this fake brick wall that they built that he smashed through with the big hands, and I was like, that was like a neat little end point on it, but the
Yeah.
rest of the announcement was just kind of like this. I don't know. It's kind of awkward.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Did they mention anything? What it's going to be about, or who's going to be like any video game characters they're going to pull from?
I no, they didn't.
I really hope they go because I've seen the first one. I don't know if I've seen it all the way through. I wanted because they got like the rights to do Sonic and all these other things. I wanted them to dive into those worlds, like Street Fighter, like get weird with it.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but like an animated movie. But then they jumped into like a fake Halo, a fake Gumdrop World or something. Like no, no. I hope in the next one it's like nope. Him and what's his face, Egghead or something, Eggman is gonna be like I hope he's entering the video game worlds, if that makes sense, of these like popular
Right.
franchises.
More so than just like, oh hey, I'm sitting here with one of the ghosts and Zangief and Satan.
Right,
Like there's,
exactly.
it's pronounced Satine. I'm sorry. They
Wait, so
did
how
that
do you
in
pronounce it?
a Satine.
Satine.
I can't
Okay.
believe they did that in a Disney movie.
Right, right,
It's so
right.
ridiculous.
I just hope that when he enters the Street Fighter world, they're like, "Wait, where's the rest of it?" And they're like, "Well, it's coming. It's coming in a few months.
Right.
It's not finished yet." Like that would be great. See, they need to play with stuff like that. That would be great. Speaking of Street Fighter, I was thinking about getting that. It was like $40 the other day,
Oh yeah.
and now it has like all the story mode and everything else. I don't know. It was between that and Lego Star Wars, and I might go with Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, you'll go Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, it's got like 200. I don't know. Oh, and I saw that the Lego Dimensions was on sale for like 40 or $50, $53 or something.
Yeah, I got burned on that once. I'm, once bitten, twice shy.
You're good now. You're like, no, 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 no,
I
no.
tried the collectibles thing with Disney, and it's possibly never-ending roster of characters and all this cool. Oh, they're gonna stop producing it. Well, fine, bite me.
Yeah, see, there's no way I can do that because I looked at the Lego Dimensions stuff and like that's a cool game, but to play the Ghostbusters thing, you gotta spend $20. To play the Scooby Doo level, you gotta spend $15. Like, and
It's
it's like I don't want that
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
toys, and it's the next version of action figures,
Right,
basically. And that's
exactly.
I have and look, more power to them. I have no problem with that. It's just not. I thought it was for me, and then it was like, oh, now these things are gonna sit in a box.
Right, right, right. Yeah, no, see, I'm a fan. Like, it's been well documented. I'm a fan of the Lego games. So like some of my guilty pleasure games, but I don't want to spend $60 on them. The Star Wars one I'll probably wait until it's 30, $40 maybe. Usually it's $30 within like 6 months. So and I have no problem doing that because I don't know, they're fun. But okay, all right, sorry. Back on track. We got some Dark Tower news. First images revealed of Matthew McConaughey as the Man in Black. Did you see these?
I did, man. He looks creepy.
Yeah, definitely.
He's yeah. Like,
Yeah, I thought that was cool. And this news was fantastic when I saw this. I thought it was a joke at first, but Anna Kendrick says she wants to be Squirrel Girl, stars as Squirrel Girl in any upcoming Marvel film.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those headlines where you're like, oh, somebody thought this would be a cute joke because she would kind of, yeah, this seems like something she could do. And then you're like, no, she kind of flat out was like, well, I like Squirrel Girl. I could do that in a movie.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm sure someone showed her and she was like, "Oh, that'd be great."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that has to happen. I can't imagine in the next year or two we don't get a cameo of her as Squirrel Girl.
Well, I mean, they're putting her in a new Avengers book.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, she has her own series.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, yeah. Like she's a pretty big character right now in the comics. I mean, I think she's most famous for taking down Doctor Doom
And Galactus.
and or was it Galactus? What am I thinking? Yeah,
She
okay. I guess
beat
it
she
was.
beat Doom too, but
Okay, okay.
yeah, that's the thing. Like she's beaten Doom and Galactus and Thanos
And Wolverine.
and Wolverine.
Yeah, so like I think that's awesome. She would be perfect for Squirrel Girl. Like that has to happen. And you know, it's another funny person getting in those films. Like she's a huge actress, so
Yeah,
yeah,
that would,
that'd be awesome.
and that would just be like a great. The best lead-in for that would be like a throwaway line in the Spider-Man film. Just just great. Like now we've got Ant-Man, we've got Spider-Man. What's next? Squirrel Girl.
Perfect.
And then carry on. Thank you, J. Jonah Jameson. Like that's and then leave it at that. So people in the audience freak the hell out. Everybody
No,
else is like,
it'd be funny if someone's like, no, that's already a thing. Hold on, look.
right? Oh my, yeah.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Like that'd be great.
Robbie just kind of slides that article across, like, Jonah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that'd be great. That's gonna happen. It's almost guaranteed to happen unless she like asks for too much or something like that. But yeah, that's awesome. Go ahead and take the next one.
Yeah. Jim Morris, who's the president of Pixar, talked about how they're kind of like we've had this spate of sequels now and everything, but they're done with that. They're done with sequels. His words were, unless I got to quote here, unless the director of the original film has an idea that they like and are willing to go forward on. Now I like this for two reasons. One is because we've had enough sequels. Let's move on.
Yep.
Yeah. After what Toy Story 4 and The Incredibles 2, like those are at the end of this bunch of like, hey, you wanted new ones, and so here you go.
Mm-hmm.
But also where he's like, not unless we have a good story, but
Right.
unless the director of the original film has a good story. I like that. Like
Yeah.
I really like that sentiment
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't just speak to from a business standpoint of like, hey, we don't have to rely on these same properties over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like we not just we like the idea of doing something different, but that's what we want to do is keep making different, new, excellent stuff. And then there's the kind of the nod to artistic integrity of
Mm-hmm.
saying, we're not going to just grab this from somebody and run with it.
Right.
If that director says, "Hey, I've got this cool idea," then we'll take a look at it. Then we'll see what we want to do with it. I mean, and if it's something that they feel passionately about, then who are we to get in the way?
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm all for that. That was one of the best things about the Pixar movies is they always seemed different. They always seemed new. Every single one of them was a completely different story. And then they started getting into the sequels with Toy Story. And then
Well, but that worked. Like Toy Story 2 wasn't bad.
I didn't like it. I liked the third one.
Yeah.
Um,
The big criminal in this was Cars.
yeah.
That
Oh
was
yeah.
where it went to hell. Cause Cars itself, yeah. Cars 2 was awful. Planes was terrible. Planes Fire and Rescue was terrible. Like they were like, we've got this thing and kids love it, and so we have to spin this off 12 times. God, it's awful.
I didn't know there was a planes fire and rescue.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There
Yeah.
was. They
That's
they did Cars, and then they did a sequel to Cars, and then they did a spin-off from Cars, and then they did a sequel to the spin-off from Cars. And
yeah.
it's just no.
Yeah. Reminds me of like DuckTales.
Right.
It was Tailspin. what was the DuckTales spinoffs? It was Tailspin, right?
No.
Yeah, it
Had
was.
no, it wasn't.
Tailspin? Yeah, Tailspin. Oh, no. What was that? That was the Jungle Book spinoff.
Right.
Right. Okay, so what was? Oh, Darkwing Duck would have been.
Darkwing Duck. Yeah, but those are bad examples though, because those were awesome.
I know. Oh, God, I would love like a Darkwing Duck or Tailspin movie.
Oh, don't be careful saying these things out loud, man.
Right. Oh man, what was the relationship with Tailspin and Jungle Book? Were they like cousins or something? That wasn't Baloo as the pilot, right?
Well, that was his name.
Was it Baloo?
Yeah, I don't know if it was. I hope it wasn't the same one, but I I mean, it was a bear named Baloo.
It was like Baloo who got really into Casablanca.
Apparently, like,
yeah, man.
I just,
Oh, okay. So yeah, a concept occasionally featured on Disney's successor DuckTales. Um, he guess he showed up on DuckTales. So technically, I am right. It is a spinoff of DuckTales. I'll read this later. But yeah, no, I knew it was around the same time.
oh yeah, there was all kind. Well, because I mean that was like we got. That was when we got, the Mighty Ducks, which
Oh yeah.
that you want to talk about spinning off in a whole different direction.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
That's great.
I don't know.
Animated shows were so good back then.
Right.
Maybe we're just, what is it, rose petal glasses, but
Yeah.
come on.
I don't know. I miss SWAT Cats. That was one of my favorites.
Yes. Oh yeah.
The video game was awful, but the show was great.
Yeah, they basically tried to just make every animal into like it's the Ninja Turtles what started, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and I think I don't know. I think something like the Jungle Book too.
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
that was, and I think what brought it into to like 80s 90s animation was definitely Ninja Turtles though.
Right. They were like, "Hey, we have animals that are talking and walking. We can make it kind of take that spin on it."
Right, and just keep going with it and do just beyond outrageous things. And then you get gargoyles, and so.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
You kind of, I don't know, there's.
What was it, Biker Mice from Mars?
Oh, I loved Biker Mice from Mars.
Right. Oh man. And there was what were the Street Sharks or something?
Yes, Street Sharks. Where did you see the promo they released of like young Vin Diesel hawking the toys?
Yes.
It's just that's beautiful.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, gotta take a quick break. We'll be back. We'll talk more about movies, and then we'll get into some TV. All right, again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Not really much movie news left to talk about. We both just saw that trailer for Daniel Radcliffe's Imperium, which looks pretty good. I mean, it looks creepy. I guess he's an informant, infiltrates look like what, the KKK or neo-Nazis or something like that.
Right, some white supremacist group, yeah.
Right, and it looks good. Like, he it's funny how he can go from a movie about a farting corpse to that.
Right.
It's like a completely different. Yeah, I like that. I think that's cool. So we'll see. I mean, the last kind of movie that reminded me a lot of like American History X or something.
Yeah, there was definitely that kind of vibe, yeah.
Yeah. So the way the tone of the trailer was just like, this is creepy. But yeah, all right. So, not really much else news to talk about. There was some stuff about, I guess, Star Trek's 1975 Roddenberry's movie scripts had just crazy shit. Like, Kirk apparently was punching Christ, and Hitler was touring the Enterprise, and there's a whole article on ain'titcoolnews.com. It's just like a list of his batshit crazy ideas.
Well, and sometimes that's the process. Like you find how far out there can you go, and you know, or at least I hope that you know, as you get like crazier and weirder and stranger.
Yeah.
And so then you can look at it and say, you know what, a lot of this is completely mental, but hey, there might actually be one or two things in there that you're like, I wouldn't have thought of that if I hadn't gone all the way to the end of this.
Oh yeah, and I should put some context to that. Like apparently Kirk met an alien species who can shapeshift, and he went to the form of Jesus, and he asked Kirk if he knows him. He says he does, and I guess Kirk realized he was an alien, so he punched him in the face. So like, there's some context that makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, it's interesting. You know, it was like how far can we go? And I'm sure like the studio was like, well, let's leave Hitler out of this episode. Probably not good. Let's put Churchill or somebody else in there.
Right.
You know, or Einstein or someone else.
You could just hear him on whatever planet they're on. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty alien.
Right, exactly. Oh man. But yeah. So, not much else movie news to talk about. But we can get into some TV news. Let's see here. We have some star news. Stars. The network was bought by Lionsgate for $4.4 billion.
Well, now we know where all the Name of the Wind stuff's gonna go.
We do. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, where else was it gonna go? Either they were gonna have a licensing deal with one of these other networks that wasn't HBO, because it was never going to be on HBO, or they could buy out the premium channel that most cable subscribers tend to give away. It's either this or Epix that gets just kind of tossed in. If you ever have a problem with your cable company about their service, call and complain, and they will give you Epix or Stars for free. Every time. Right. So look, here's their network. Not to mention, this is another avenue for their film distribution. Right. Instead of having to work out, again, they don't have to work out deals for the Hunger Games or any of this other stuff they've got going on. They can say, all right, we have our own channel now that we can put this on. Not to mention, I know something else comes with Stars. They own something else. Is it Epix?
I don't know.
There is something else. I know there is. It's gonna take me a minute to find it, but I know there's another. It's not Reels. I think Reels is the other one.
Right.
I don't know. I'll have to look. But I mean, that's, now they've got that direct line. They've basically just cut out the middleman. They were like, we don't want to pay you to like the distribution charges and everything. We're just gonna buy you.
Oh yeah. AMC started somewhere. Of course, HBO started somewhere with the original programming. My hope is that with this kind of deal, they get serious about original programming. I can't think of, maybe was it Outlander?
Spartacus.
Okay, so
and Outlander now, sure, yeah.
I'd never seen Outlander, but I heard it was good. Yeah, who knows? Maybe this is where they start to get really serious about. I know though, I'm saying that ignorantly because I just haven't seen really the original programs, except for Spartacus, and I just didn't like Spartacus. I thought I watched it with one of my friends. She was into it. Of course, there's a bunch of guys that are just completely half naked the whole time, fighting around with each other. She loved it. I was like, it seemed like they were trying to do 300, the TV show, and the animation was not good. And then it grew on me the more I watched it. But, if they do Name of the Wind on it, I just, I guess they could do it. I want to watch Outlanders to see, because that's like a recent series they've done, right?
Yeah, still going. Just picked up for a third season, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Definitely, yeah. I'll check that out then. See what it's like.
Yeah, they've got Stars, Encore, and Movieplex. Those are the three.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I never really venture outside of HBO when it comes to those kind of channels.
That's the thing, most people don't. Like, a lot of people forgot that Cinemax and Showtime are still a thing, kind of.
Right. I'd say behind HBO, maybe Cinemax is the biggest one. When I was a kid, it was Skinemax.
But I think Showtime.
Showtime?
Well, just because they have more programming. I mean,
okay.
they've got things that I can't name off the top of my head because I don't know, but like they were always the kind of, what are they? Nurse Jackie's on Showtime, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it's on Netflix now too.
Yeah. Well,
Actually,
'cause
there's some Starz stuff on Netflix. Maybe.
I know there
Oh.
used to, like Spartacus used to be on Netflix, and Showtime is a CBS network.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
CBS. That's why during the writer's strike a few years ago they put really heavily edited Dexter on CBS.
That's right.
And
That's right. I remember that.
if you can find it anywhere, it's hysterical.
Yeah, I remember my grandparents watched it and were like, "This is interesting. This is different than CSI and stuff." And then no, it was only like one season they showed on it.
Yeah.
I was like, "You can watch the regular one, but you might not like it." Yeah. That's the
But
thing about Dexter. That could have easily been a PG-13 show if they really wanted to. Um,
sure, I mean they wouldn't have had to tone down an awful lot.
yeah, his sister just wouldn't be able to say fuck a lot. They'd have to, cut out some of the nude scenes and a little bit, calm down a little bit with the. You just showed a little bit off scenes with them killing people, and that would have been perfectly fine in 2016.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we have shows about the devil and there's shows like Preacher out there. Like it could have worked.
Yeah, and the ending would have been just as disappointing.
Yeah. Oh, my buddy's watching it right now, and he's like going through it, and all of his he's in a group chat, and all of his little references have to do with Dexter and stuff, and I'm like, dude, that is so long ago. Like you're making all of these old references like it's new.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, what's his name? Oh man, my mind just went blank. The guy from 30 Rock. John. He's on Dexter. He was the best bad guy on Dexter.
Oh,
John starts with an L.
Lithgow. Yeah,
Lithgow. Yeah.
the
Oh man, I couldn't think of it.
30 Rock?
Third Rock from the Sun.
Third Rock. Thank you. God, that was...
Yeah. And I was like, once you get to that and that ends, that just shut it off. Just don't go back. Maybe Tom Hanks' son. That was a pretty cool season.
He was all right.
He was okay. But I definitely cut it off after that. That's no, don't go anywhere else.
Like I would say people watch the entire season, but when it looks like it's supposed to end, stop.
Yeah.
Like that on that one fade out where you're like, "Oh, I think that's the end." Stop immediately. Do not go any further.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Oh man. All right. So, speaking of shows and stuff, CW Network's deal with Netflix is finalized. Series will begin streaming 8 days after the finale.
So yeah, the Thursday of the week after the Arrow series season finale, the show will be on Netflix.
That is crazy. It's like the mentality was they waited until literally the week before the next season to start streaming it because they wanted to sell the DVDs and the Blu-rays.
Right.
But I think they've just gotten like, nope, we'll make more deal getting it on Netflix.
Well, I've got to imagine that box sets are on the way out. Not immediately, I'm sure, but I mean streaming is the way to go. Whether you get it through Netflix or iTunes or Amazon Prime or any pick a service, any service.
Right. Who wants to put a disc in a device? I can't tell you the last time I put a disc in my PlayStation.
Yeah.
Imagine what more they could have put in your PlayStation if it didn't have that drive.
Yeah. I know.
Memory or graphics, like that space there. I don't know. I think in a few years that's really on its way out. Just with digital streaming. I mean, I know a lot of people in the country don't have high speed internet and stuff like that. I get it. But like you said, dude, it's really on its way out. More people are streaming now than ever. You have iTunes and Amazon and Netflix and Hulu and all of these options that Netflix per month is what, $10?
$9, $10, I think.
$9, and there's so much content in that. Yeah, God, you go watch the whole thing. Gilmore Girls, OC, Arrow, Flash, tons of documentaries, anime. Like it's full of stuff. It's so much content that I could definitely see people. I haven't collected box sets really in years, and it's because of that. I can go watch the entire show of Lost on Netflix if I want to.
Yeah, I still like my Blu-rays. I like the just because I like special features, and
Right.
they're slowly bringing that more and more to digital copies,
Oh yeah.
but that's lagging way behind.
Oh yeah. Like I mean, I saw Kevin Smith post a photo the other day of like a Sunset uh movie store or whatever, Suncoast movie store.
Yeah,
He was like, this is like one of the last ones out there, and it's so true. Like if you would have talked to me in 2004, 2005, I was buying movies all the time, and I think the only movie I've purchased in the last year on like Blu-ray is Star Wars.
yeah,
Everything else I've rented, I've streamed, I've gone to the theater to see, because it's I don't know. It seems like renting it for $1 or $2 or getting a red box or doing just a better option or on demand. On demand has like every episode for the last like 10 weeks.
right.
So if you're behind, you're okay. I don't know. It's crazy to think about.
Well, and I mean, not to mention DVRs have so much more space now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. You can record like 10 shows at a time or something, some ridiculous thing now.
It's insane, and you look at something like this, and you have to wonder: are we looking at a bubble here? I know I always wondered, like, are we in a comic book movie bubble? Like, are we just waiting for this to pop? And I think there are enough that fail
Mhm.
that it keeps it stable. For every Civil War, we have a Batman v Superman.
Oh yeah.
For
Oh
for
yeah.
every for every Deadpool, we still have a 300 every now and again.
Well, that's the thing. We still have studios that are doing quality work. So we
Right.
still have Disney doing quality work with their comic book movies. There are studios that are just not cutting it with comic book movies. Batman, Warner Brothers used to be the top of it with
Yeah.
the three Batman films, and now they've taken such a misstep that you see it in the interviews and the people who went and like when they apparently we talked about this before where Zack Snyder picked uh, the people who gave his movie a bad review, like IGN and whatever, and flew them out to England to show them all of this new stuff. And they're like, we get it. You didn't like the first one. We want to show you how we're changing it. Like they realize, oh crap, that was such a misstep. Like people don't want dark, 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 dark the whole freaking time. As long as there are studios out there that are doing good things, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, you worry about saturation. That's the big problem. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
look at CW. I mean, CW basically has their entire week booked with superhero shows.
right. The thing is, the CW's doing it right.
Right, but at what point do people just finally get tired of it? I mean, we're gonna have casualties, and I think the first ones to go are gonna be the Fox shows. I think
Oh yeah.
Lucifer and eventually Gotham are gonna go. I don't know if Legion gets off the ground really.
Well, it's on the wrong channel. See, the CW can afford to have lower numbers compared to Fox and CBS. And
True,
I mean, look at Supergirl.
true.
Look at Constantine. Those would thrive on the CW. Where on CBS and stuff, those people they don't care about that. It wasn't in the right place. Netflix is a great place to do that kind of stuff. Look at Daredevil. Like they're doing great things. Um, But yeah, dude. All right, well, we got to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll got more TV news to talk about. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Before the break, we were talking about saturation with the comic book movies and TV shows, and I agree with you. We've seen a lot of them slip, and we see that happening. But oh man, like I think if Fox was smart, they would have done an X-Men show that is recognizable. That people are like, I know who Gambit is. If they would have done a show about Gambit, I think that would have been just way better than Legion or something like that. But we'll see. I mean,
Well,
it's going to be interesting, I guess.
and I have to wonder if that's why ABC was always so gun shy about an Agents of Shield spinoff. Because
Yeah.
it was like 3 times they were really looking at it, and then they were like, you know what, nah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the other thing. Agents of Shield does not hold my attention, but you know what does? Daredevil.
Yeah.
like and it's just I don't know. And Daredevil, there's a lot going right with it. You know, like just the casting and the acting and the amount of time they spend on the story, of course. Um, Agents of Shield, it just seems like a cookie cutter. I don't know. I like Agents of Shield, but it's much more watered down. It's
Yeah.
not as tight. And I wish that it sucks they can't use bigger characters. Speaking of bigger character, did you see the rumors that Ghost Rider might be on it?
Well, they teased that with the bus, and
Right.
everybody kind of laughed. And then there's like new little hints that keep dropping, and I'm just like, how in the hell are you gonna bring Ghost Rider to do this?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. We talked about it not too long ago. Uh, who was saying they wanted to play Ghost Rider? Oh, what's his name? Hold on.
I don't remember.
The guy who plays Daryl Dixon.
Oh, yeah, Norman Reedus. Yeah.
Norman Reedus, yes. He was saying he wanted to play. Maybe that. See, maybe that's a way for him to get in, and then suddenly. Like, 'cause I always thought he'd be better on Netflix. Um, it'd make more sense on Netflix if he went like.
Yeah.
I guess he's not too violent of a character. He's just a skull on fire. It's just ridiculous.
He's an avenging spirit from hell. I don't know how much darker you want to get.
No, but he was never like Preacher. Like he was never like
True, but
gruesome. It was just like scary devil got a skull. Like it's totally Disney if they wanted to. Like come on. I've never read a Ghost Rider book where like he's poking eyeballs out or having sex or cursing or anything like that. It was nothing that you can't do on TV.
Oh, did they not do a Ghost Rider Max story? If they
I don't
didn't,
think so.
that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean maybe I'm wrong. I don't know that much about Ghost Rider, but I don't ever remember him being like over the top except for the movies with Nicolas Cage.
Well, that was a different kind of over the top.
Right, exactly. But yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how they do that. Did you see that Felton is cast as Julian Dorn for season 3 of The Flash?
Yeah, he's gonna play a rival CSI at the CCPD. I love this. I think it's awesome because we know they live in a world where Harry Potter is a thing. They live in a world like ours with all the same pop culture references and everything.
Right.
So how fast are they gonna get that like wink and a nod out of the way?
Oh, you know they are.
Oh yeah.
Cisco's gonna go. You know who you look like?
Right. Or there's gonna be like my favorite thing ever would be like if they're like if Felton's character storms off and Cisco just as a great aside just kind of goes, I bet he's gonna tell his father about this.
Right.
Like just and let that be that. Can be the only one. I only need one. I just want one, but it better be good.
Oh yeah. You know that's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. So okay, so what? I'm not familiar with Julian Dorn. Is he a superhero or is he a villain?
I don't. This is a character I don't know. I have no idea who this character is. The description that they gave in like the little press release thing was that he's another CSI who kind of grows suspicious of Barry.
Okay.
So take that for what it's worth. And it seems like if this is the road they're going, that things are kind of going to get back to normal fairly quickly.
Okay.
So like Flashpoint will probably only last like an episode.
That's cool. Yeah, give me a weird balls to the wall episode and then go back to the status quo.
Works for me. And as a premiere or a finale, like I'm good with that. If they're going to drop us in this really weird backwards world for the season 3 premiere and then he sets it right, but there's still everything's just a little off.
Well, yeah, that's what I think will happen, is that he'll set things right, but suddenly he's not in a relationship anymore that he's been building for all. That's what they're going to do, and that's kind of what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that they get to this point where it's like, yes, now they're going to be in a relationship. It's the perfect timing, of course, he goes back and screws everything up. But in the first episode or 2 episodes, he's like, "Oh, I gotta fix everything." But now, because of the decision I made, the one thing I am gonna lose out on is this relationship. And then what's his face comes back. That's what I think's gonna happen. From the first season, I forget his name.
They're gonna bring Eddie Thawne back.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be right. It's okay. This is never gonna happen. They're just gonna play with this for the whole show. I guess rumor is that he's gonna play a new supervillain called Godspeed, who's like just introduced in Rebirth.
Okay.
That's what people are hoping, I guess. He looks pretty sick, but that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. I hope he stays in it. I liked him in Harry Potter, so.
Yeah, and he's he's a legitimately good actor. So I don't know. This ought to be good. Like, he's not just there for the fan services.
Right. We got some Arrow news. Cody Rhodes casts his undisclosed role in season 5.
Yeah, he's not busy anymore, so why not?
All right, yeah, I was watching one of the things, and they brought him out on stage, and they're like, I guess he went and auditioned for the role. So who knows? Maybe I've never seen him act before, except for wrestling, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's over the top as Stardust. So
yeah, he was probably in one of the 12 Marine films that they did, I think.
There's really 12 of them?
They're working on 5, I think. I legitimately think they're doing 5. I know there are 4 for sure. But I think they're working on a 5th one.
So wait, that was what, John Cena?
Originally, yeah, and then it was Randy Orton, and then I think they did Cody Rhodes, because now they're doing The Miz.
Wow, is it the same character?
I don't know. I barely paid attention during the first one. I didn't watch any of the sequels.
Oh wow, yeah, no, I've never heard of these. I mean, I've seen the first one.
If you ever want to watch really bad movies, turn on anything done by WWE films. They're bad. They're just bad movies.
Who is Ted DiBiase Jr.?
Ted DiBiase Jr. He's the $1 Million Man's kid.
Oh wow.
Why? Which one was he in?
That was the sequel.
Okay, so
The Miz was the Marine 3 Homefront.
And 4.
And 4 is hold on. 4 is Miz, yep.
Yeah.
And is there a Marine? I don't see a Marine 5.
I don't know. Maybe that was just a really unfortunate joke they tried to work into a segment.
There's a Condemned, which has...
The Condemned was actually interesting. I liked The Condemned. The sequel sucked. But the first one was actually, not a terrible idea.
It looks like Randy Orton?
That would have been the sequel then.
Yeah, The Condemned 2.
Yeah.
Randy Orton.
Okay, so that was the one he was in.
Wait, there's 3 12 rounds with Dean Ambrose? What?
Oh, he did what was the one he was in? Lockdown was another one that Ambrose was in.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Oh, the WWE Studios, the WWE Films filmography is fantastic. They are but they are bad. The Condemned, I will give the Condemned credit. It was a mildly interesting concept that was not horribly executed.
That's Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Condemned.
Not a horrible film, but not really a great film, but worth a watch. Not terrible if you haven't seen it.
Okay.
But the rest of them, See No Evil with Kane was oh, here's their attempt at a horror movie, and it kind of worked, but not really. And then they did a sequel which just didn't work at all. And then they did a Leprechaun movie with Hornswoggle, and it was it was just awful. It was just flat out awful. I mean, there's no I would love to point to any redeeming thing other than they cast somebody who plays, other than they cast a dwarf who plays a stereotypical Irish leprechaun on their televised product as the leprechaun. But I can't it's just bad. It's genuinely
Stone Cold Steve Austin one. The Stranger, Damage, Recoil, Hunt to Kill, Tactical Force. These all just look like
God, I haven't even heard of a lot of these.
Straight to DVD.
Oh, they were. Oh, they were. They absolutely were. But the thing is, like, on the product, they brag about that. They were like, I was in such and such, which is on, and they will say straight to digital and DVD. Like, that's the line in their promo, and I'm like, don't say that out loud.
Are any of these on the WWE Network?
No.
Oh, why not? They need to put those on there. I would totally watch them just for fun.
I would love to watch them too, because they don't have the distribution rights.
Oh, okay.
That's why. They're through, what, like Legendary or something? Or at least they were in the beginning. I don't know who they're with now. Like ABC 123 Films, I guess. I don't know.
They're all trying to chase that Rock.
Yeah, and they're never going to find it again. Because The Rock wasn't in a WWE Studios film.
Right, exactly.
He was in an actual film.
Right. With writers and...
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk more TV news. We'll get into some video games, and then we'll tell you about some of the movies and stuff we saw over the weekend. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And we got some TV news still to talk about. We talked about The Flash and Arrow. We got some Constantine news. First season of series now streaming on CW Seed platform.
Yeah, their digital service.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully, fingers crossed,
right?
We get some Constantine.
Hint, wink, wink. Hopefully, like.
Yes. Yeah. I think it'd be great in Legends of Tomorrow. I think they haven't announced the full cast for that, but I'm hoping he's just on that show. That's going to be the show, I think, where they're like, okay, we have every day of the week now, all 5 days. Now it's time. That's going to be a show where they're like, let's introduce more and more characters, and we can have a rotating cast.
Right.
And that would work so well, like him on that, and get Swamp Thing or something. I'm super pumped about that show coming back. Probably more than the other two. Maybe Flash the most, but man, Legends of Tomorrow, I want some more of that. Just because of how weird it is. Speaking of weird, Legion. First image of Dan Stevens as Professor X's son has been revealed. Did you see this?
I did. And okay, it's a kid in a jacket with his head leaning against the wall.
Yeah.
I did like the description of where they're going with the show, though. Mm-hmm. And it's the idea of is he crazy or is he a mutant? And in this particular world they've created, which is worse?
Right. I mean, to me it looks like a still. Yeah. From Breaking Bad.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
like he needs a fix. But yeah, no, I agree. That's a cool concept. And, as much as I've been down on the idea of them doing stuff like this, I do take to heart what you say. Like, I definitely need to go into it with an open mind. Because I got to read the series. You keep telling me about it. I want it to be good. I want it to be really good, but there's nothing that interests me about Legion. So hopefully they get me. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch as much as I can of it. And I like that concept. Is he crazy or is he a mutant? Yeah.
And I like the idea of exploring, like, in this kind of world they've set up. It's like, well, we still stigmatize mental illness, and he's also a mutant. So is he? And what happens if he's both? Like, right. And that's the thing of, like, well, he's a crazy person. No, he's not crazy. That's not. We shouldn't be vilifying that. Well, he's a mutant then. No, he's not a mutant. That's horrible. But we shouldn't be vilifying that either. What if he's a crazy mutant? Well, shit. It's like how. It's like where's there's this is a great platform for a lot of properly done social commentary. Mm-hmm. You could absolutely do this, but I worry about this coming across way too ham-fisted. Really.
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully it does good. So, green lights them to do more X-Men TV shows, man. See, that's the thing, man. We watched X-Men the animated series as kids, and I would love a live-action X-Men TV show. I think that would be so much better than the movies.
And it would be expensive as hell.
It would be, but you don't have to do, like, the CGI heavy characters. Like, Do it where they're in a school, and the main characters, like Cyclops. Like, I don't even want to see powers, I guess, that much. I would love an X-Men Academy TV show, where it was like One Tree Hill or something, but with mutants. Like, and I'm surprised the CW hasn't done that yet. Like, the CW would be perfect for that kind of show, like Teen Titans or something. And I
When
think X-Men would be great with that too.
yeah, the when Gotham was first announced, like when there was really no details, but they were like, "Hey, we're doing this as a show."
Hmm.
There is a fantastic episode of Fat Man on Batman where it's Kevin and I think it's Dan DiDio
Right.
are sitting there and describing basically Bloodhaven Academy.
Right. And it had like all the villains in high school and stuff, and that's
Yes,
perfect.
that like Gotham OC on the CW would have been amazing.
It really would have. And I'm honestly surprised the CW hasn't looked at the Teen Titans and gone, we could do that. Probably because I'm sure somewhere down the line they're going to want to make a movie out of the Teen Titans, so it's probably off limits.
Yeah,
But
well,
then
they
again,
were.
look at the Flash.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah. You're right. And that's what I'm saying. Like Fox, or yeah, I guess Fox has the rights to do the TV shows because Disney lent them or whatnot. They could totally do that, and I mean, this is a start with Legion. So who knows? Maybe in a few years it'll get announced. But
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
we'll see.
Teen Titans in yeah, just do one Teen Titans Hill. Like it would it
Yeah.
is, and I get the idea of like trying to want to stay away from that because that was the even it would probably bring to mind a lot of really bad Smallville flashbacks because like
But
that was like the entire first half of that show.
but there's nothing on television like that right now, at least that I can think of.
Right, we haven't like it's that was the thing of like that was everything. You had the OC and One Tree Hill and all this everything kind of filled that same bubble. And then it went away and I'm okay with them saying like, "Look, here's a show like that."
Right.
Like not 12, just one.
Right, exactly. Like you could do CW do the Teen Titans and have Fox do the OC but with mutants, and it would be perfect. Like have your little rebellious Cyclops, and it's a shame we got the when they did it's like they're not afraid to do those kind of things when it comes to animated shows, but when it comes to live action they don't want to go near the big things
Right.
for some reason. Like even Gotham tiptoes around the big guys. That's the only one that actually gets kind of close, I guess. um, except for maybe Daredevil. It's got bigger characters. I don't know. We'll see.
Basically, what we're saying is we'd like to see some of these networks and studios grow some balls.
Yes.
Like that's
Seriously.
take the risk, take the leap. Marvel did it with Daredevil and it worked huge.
And I guess in some way they are taking a risk doing obscure characters like Legion.
Well,
But at the
but I
same time, is that I mean, I
I
can't. I don't know a single friend, except for you and like my friends who are really into comic book stuff. But I'm saying outside of that world, I don't know a single person who would know who Legion is. Not a single one of them. And maybe that's what they're going for. Like, hey, you don't know comics? Don't worry because this is an obscure character anyway. I don't know.
I think that's part of it. Of like, hey, well, from Fox's standpoint, I do genuinely think it's we don't want to go near the big guys because we are saving them for films.
Right, right.
I do think that's Fox's MO with that kind of thing. That's
But
why.
if it's not a shared universe, who cares?
Right. That's and I faulted DC for that, the idea of not connecting the film and TV universes. But there is an inherent freedom there where you can do whatever you want on each one, and there's not an impact.
And here's the big problem. Whenever was it Manu Bennett did Deathstroke, when they told him we're getting rid of him because they're doing a Suicide Squad movie from the TV show, it's like they're not connected. So why would you care? But it was the studio going, yeah, but we don't want to confuse people.
Then then connect it. Like
That's
there's
the
no
problem.
yeah there's no other option here. Like if you don't want to confuse people, then you can't do then you can't do them in each one.
Right, and it's like, look at the Flash. How could, and you just mentioned it earlier, like how could you have these two things coexisting in one area and the other area you're like, no, we kind of want to we want to kill off this team because we're going to do a Suicide Squad movie. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to connect them on purpose and you're going to, I like how they're kind of doing it where they're like, hey, it's a multiverse. Okay, that works perfectly. These characters are different from the ones we see in the movies. Okay, I can get behind that. Don't be afraid to put Nightwing in there. Don't be afraid to show Bruce Wayne. Don't be afraid to do any of that. That's gonna get everybody watching.
Well, we're gonna have Superman.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, they don't want to go near Batman. Okay, why? Why not? Why not on Legends of Tomorrow? You drop in on Gotham City, and it straight up looks like Batman the Animated Series. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Maybe it's an alternate universe, whatever. Like, do something weird like that.
Right.
That's what I want them to do.
I mean, they hinted at it with Rip Hunter's big speech. You know, I've seen Men of Steel killed in Dark Knight's Fall, or however that went.
Well, did you? Okay, you still haven't seen the season finale, right?
I still haven't seen the show, right?
You gotta see it because in the last episode they go into stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, they're doing that. Okay, this just opened up a whole new world. Like, it opens it up for a lot of characters that are maybe on a different Earth. Who knows? Like, I don't want to give it away, but it's like, holy shit, this is gonna be so cool next season. So I don't know, man. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing with Legends of Tomorrow. They can get so weird and go all over the DC universe and different universes and different worlds and kind of pull it back together, if that makes sense. I just wish they would do that. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Rambling on this show? No, we never do that.
Right, exactly. So we'll see about Legion. We saw, Attack on Titan second season announced for spring 2017. Finally.
Right.
I think I saw Attack on Titan when I moved into this house like 3 years ago.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and, Attack on Titan was just such a huge anime. Like, it was one of the only ones that I think has made the leap over to people that aren't, like, don't watch anime, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it had like a Dragon Ball effect.
Yes, it had that big of word of mouth where it was like, hey, you probably watched Dragon Ball when you were a kid or teenager or your early 20s, but you never really watched any other anime. Check this out, because this is kind of a cool story. And I liked it. I was like, all right, this is great. And then I was like, when's the next season? Doesn't exist yet. They're not making it. I was like, oh, well, this sucks. Okay, I guess I'll go back to not watching anime.
Yeah.
So,
it reminded me of like when I went on Netflix to start watching Sherlock. I was like, there's only 3 episodes. Where's the rest of them?
Right, exactly.
Everybody had a good laugh. They were like, no, other episodes.
Oh, I saw 3 episodes of Death Note, though.
Yeah? What'd you think?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
There you go.
Definitely going to finish it. I was actually going to go watch that last night, and then I saw that Marco Polo Season 2 was on, and I started watching a little bit of that, but it was like way too late to get into it. I was like, I'll stop this now because I'll end up falling asleep.
And while we're talking about kind of crossover anime, I think the next one on that list would be One Punch Man. Like that's kind of the next one that seems to be gaining that much momentum.
I saw that, and it's a joke though, right? Like it's a
it kind of is, but also it kind of isn't.
See, I thought it was like a big joke.
It's kind of framed that way, but there is a lot more to it than that. And it's actually getting an English dub on Adult Swim in like 2 weeks, I think.
Oh, okay.
Like we finally start to get the English version. Yes, I'm one of the horrible, awful people. I like my anime dubbed. Bite me.
Yeah,
I don't mind subtitles. I don't hate subtitles. I would rather have it dubbed.
I get why the purists want the Japanese version, but I totally agree with you. When I watched Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball for the first time, it was English, and I didn't have to read it. When I watched Attack on Titan, I was reading for hours, and not watching, it seemed like. And it kind of distracted me from it. I wish I spoke Japanese, because then I could just enjoy it like you're supposed to. But no, I agree with you, man. There's no shame to that. It is what it is. People enjoy it. It's okay. But yeah, no, Yeah, I'll check that out. I've seen like an episode of that, and I was like, okay, this is a joke about superheroes and stuff. Like,
It is a satire on superheroes. It is definitely
right.
it is intentionally a play on that, but it does get rolling.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll check it out. Yeah. No, I've seen that around the internet for like the last few years. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. um, let's see what else we got. The Warriors, Russo brothers adapting. Uh, every time I see Russo brothers, I think of the Uso brothers adapting the 1979 cult film, the Hulu series, into a Hulu series.
Yeah.
Did you see that? The Warriors you can play now on the PlayStation 4.
It's one of their new PS2 for PS4 titles.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
But so yeah, that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Oh man.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like I did that was a movie that I never actually saw up until just like a couple years ago.
Right. I have
And
no. Yeah.
because I mean there's not it's one of those kind of strange movies that like it's oddly fascinating because there's for everything that happens there's not a tremendous amount that happens.
Yeah. To me, it doesn't age well. I guess if
It
you were around that time,
Yeah, it definitely does not age well for sure.
right? If you were around that time and you were living that life and people just looked weird and like fantastic, good for you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But to
Right.
me, I don't even think I finished it. I saw parts of it and I was just like, this is not for me. Okay, just not for
Yeah.
me.
No, it is definitely dated for sure.
Yeah.
And that happens to a lot of the best of them.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Adapting that to a Hulu series that could work. I mean, I can dig it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Um. Let's see here. What do we got? Top Gear host Chris Evans, not that one, resigns after first season. So I never really watched Top Gear. Did you?
You know what's funny? I started watching the new season, and immediately like I was not I'd never really watched it before. So I watched some of the new season, and you could tell right off the bat that there was a tremendous amount of friction here.
Mm.
Like it wasn't really overt, like they weren't all yelling and sniping at each other, but you could tell this this was gonna have to happen. Even before Joey from Friends said, "Look, either he goes or I go," uh, and so he went. So
So, someone who's never seen this show before,
Top,
why is what?
Top Gear is. Go ahead. It'd be better.
Well, I was gonna ask, what is Joey do? No, Joey from Friends doing? But no, yeah. What? It looks like a show about cars.
It is. And it's not just I know it's really weird to say it's not just a show about cars. The best way to explain it is honestly just to go watch an episode. There's a handful up on Netflix. But it's not just like hey
Can I
we
tell
sit in.
you? Can I tell you an outsider point of view what it looks like? It looks like MythBusters, but with cars.
There is a bit of that.
Okay.
There is definitely a pinch of that. It's not all like hey what's the craziest thing we can do with this car. But they do some of that. It is a car show. It is about the performance of cars, and DeCat wants to weigh in now. But there's sometimes they do like really ridiculous challenges with them.
Hmm.
It's funny. That's the thing. Like I had never really watched the old series with Clarkson and May and all that. But I went back and I started because like I saw this news and I was like, oh okay maybe something will change with this show now. And I was like, you know what? They have some of the old episodes on Netflix from like the last 3 or 4 years.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna go watch one of those. And then 6 in the morning rolled around and I was like, damn, okay. Because it's so funny. It is genuinely really funny. And you kind of forget like the cars are almost like a framing device.
Gotcha.
It is still about the cars, but it really is those guys, and opinions on them will vary and differ, and there's good reason for it. But
So what happened? Like the main cast broke up a few years ago or something?
Clarkson is well known for not exactly being what shall we say not racist.
Oh.
He tends to get in trouble for that. But what really happened was apparently he and somebody from the production crew had a legit fight.
Oh, wow.
Like, not just screaming and yelling and arguing, but apparently there was pushing and punches thrown, and it did not go tremendously well.
Right.
So when he, depending on who you talk to, left or was canned, the other two went with him.
Okay.
And the cat's not happy about that. But when, and so, suddenly the show then had no cast, because they were it. Those three were it.
Right.
And so they were like, oh crap, we need a new team. And so they got Chris Evans and Matt LeBlanc, and I think there's somebody else who I can't remember. And so that was, and Chris Evans, for anybody that doesn't know, has been a British TV presenter forever, it seems like.
Right.
But apparently his personality didn't really gel, and so there was issues and so on and so on.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of the history of that. But the original Top Gear, and then there have been spin-offs, like there was Top Gear America and so on. But the original Top Gear trio did this for like 20 years.
Oh, wow.
I think, or something like that. I know the original incarnation of the show has been around for like 22 years. And I think that the same three have hosted it, if not for all of it, then for most of it. I don't know my history post, like pre a handful of years back, but I'm pretty sure they've been around for all of it.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, but it's definitely, that's something that I was definitely like, I've never really watched this show, but I hear people talk about it, but I'm not a car guy. You don't need to be a car guy to appreciate the show.
Okay.
That was a big plus. Like, when I started watching it, and they were like, and we're going to take these cars, we're going to drive through the desert. And I'm like, all right. And they're going to talk about the cars. Okay. But that's just kind of like what they do in the context of, hey, we're going to herd cows with cars. They took, like, one of the episodes was they were in Australia. They took 3 modern sports cars onto a 3 million acre farm in Australia and herded 4,000 cows using the cars.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's kind of the other side of that. And I mean, they have their test track for new cars they get to drive, and they take one segment where they take a normal everyday car and they stick a celebrity in it, and they have them run a lap out on their test track.
Oh, wow.
And they've had everybody from like Ed Sheeran to Margot Robbie, and like all kinds. They have all different kinds of people that have had run it.
Jeez.
And it was a fun show. The new series, not quite so much, but they have like the last half dozen series, I think, on Netflix, and it's definitely worth a watch because it's really fun.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, I'll put that on my Netflix list to watch.
There you go. God, that list is probably very long.
Right. I'm glad you said you didn't have to be a car person, because I'm just not. I'm not really a car guy.
No, and I mean, you can, and that's the thing. Like, even when they present, like, they'll do a segment where it's like, and here's this new Ferrari, and it's like, it's not just like a tech demo of like, oh, and here's this and that. The big thing for me is like, these guys just go out and drive these cars. That's what I like to see when it comes to cars. I don't need a breakdown of all the different technical everything. I don't need that. I that just, I don't know. That doesn't quite appeal to me.
Right.
I've never studied it, but like watching, I guess it's because there's racing in my blood. Like watching these guys take a Ferrari supercar, down a winding road and see just how wide open they can get it. Like, that's, I don't know, that works for me.
Oh, that's cool.
But that's the part that I like, where it's like, oh yeah, we're going to take this thing around the track while we talk about it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Let's see. What other TV news we got? I saw that they were going to have to push Game of Thrones back.
Really?
Yeah, because I guess they actually need it to be winter for them to start shooting. Yeah, yeah, they said we're starting a bit later because of the end of the season. Winter is here, and that means the sunny weather doesn't really serve a purpose anymore. So we're kind of pushed everything down the line so we could get out some grim gray weather, even in the sunnier places that we shoot. So.
Oh, that's just fantastic. They actually had to wait for winter to come to shoot
Yeah.
this. Oh, that's beautiful.
I thought it was great. I thought that's perfect. Why not? Whatever. Like oh man, do whatever you need to do to make these last two seasons as phenomenal as the one that just happened,
Yeah.
and I'll be okay.
Oh, that's priceless.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see here.
Oh, did you see John Carpenter diss The Walking Dead for being too derivative?
No.
Yeah, he did an interview, I forget with who, where he talked about he thought The Walking Dead was far too derivative from Night of the Living Dead.
Wait, who said that?
John Carpenter.
Really?
The guy who is now starting production on Halloween 11.
Wow.
No hyperbole there. Is talking about something that's too derivative.
Right.
I'm sorry, John. I love you to death. Halloween was fantastic for its time. Your score work is amazing. He genuinely doesn't get enough appreciation for the music he composes.
Right.
But really?
Well, it reminds me of when James Cameron threw some shade at Star Wars.
Yeah, James, how long ago was Avatar that you're still working on the sequels for that aren't coming out?
Right, and he was like, "We've seen it before," and I'm like, "Okay, we saw Ferngully before too."
Thank you.
Come on. I was like, and the thing is, like, I don't understand how that's a diss. Like, that was the whole point of The Force Awakens. Like, J.J. Abrams and their whole idea was, we want to make this feel extremely familiar to the original movie because guess what? There's millions of people out there who were not born back then.
Right.
Lots of kids who are just getting into it. They wanted to make it familiar, and you can't win. Like, it's either too far away, like the prequels, or it's too similar.
Right.
And he's like, guys, 8's coming. That's going to be something really new. And you guys have the Rogue One coming out. That's going to be very new. So, like, I thought that was kind of...
Well, I mean, that's because James Cameron hasn't really made a movie in 10 years. Right,
he's just a little mad. It's like, oh wow, you could taste the salt. Like,
yeah, big time. Like I remember when Aliens was about the same aliens as in Alien, or when Terminator 2 had the same robot from Terminator. Like, that didn't make it. Like, I don't understand why. Like, that didn't make them bad movies. I don't get his point.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. James, just go make your next 3 Avatar movies like you've been doing for the last 10 years. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. It irks me when directors who do good stuff kind of go away for a while and then they come back and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bash this thing that's popular. Like, why do you guys keep doing that? Why?
Yeah, no, it's not good. It's like you're a great director, you do great work, no need to be like that. It's shallow, I think.
Right. I mean, it's one thing to be critical, it's another thing to be a dick.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't, like, come on,
Me personally, if I was a director and I was in a shot, I would have been like, I thought it was a great film. I'm excited to see the next one. Moving on. Or if you weren't that critical of it, you were like, well, I saw it and I thought it was great. You don't have to be, like, a dick about it. You're a director, you're not a critic.
Here's what I would have done differently. Yes, and that's why they didn't hire you.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
And it's fine if you want to sit down and say, look, here was what I saw. There's a big difference between, like, here's, Cameron has a tremendous technical eye. This is definitely something up his alley that he could look at and say, okay, here was this and this and this and this, and it could have been done respectfully and people would have really paid attention.
Right.
Instead of just, well, this and that and da-da-da-da-da. Like, really, James, your credibility's kind of hit an iceberg here.
Yeah, exactly. There's a way to word things. He could have been like, it paid homage to the original film, and I thought that, that was good. That's saying the same exact thing as what he said.
Right, except it was the same thing over and over again. Like, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Really, James?
Yeah, I was like, oh, dude, that's
come on.
I don't
Yeah.
go finish your movies and then come back, and so then we'll tell you how derivative they were of the last Avatar movie you did.
Right. I'm like, dude, you got 3 sequels planned, and like, just come on.
For a movie
All
that
right,
people have already forgotten about.
for real. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk about video games. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We got some game news to talk about, but first, let's talk about Pokemon Go dropping.
Yeah, well, in some places.
Some places, yeah. So like most apps, they do it in New Zealand, Australia, Japan. And then throughout the next day, it rolls on to America and Europe and whatnot. So we should be getting it anytime today, and I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it may be out by the time you hear this.
Right, exactly. So, if you're listening to this and it's out, just know I'm wandering around my neighborhood
Right.
trying to catch a coughing or something.
I could probably catch like a bell sprout around here.
Yeah, I heard the giant bomb guys talking about that. Like, can you imagine sitting at work and like you gotta go like, dude, there's a coughing. Like, drop everything.
Run!
What are you doing on the 3rd floor? I'm trying to catch a coughing. Like, I just thought that was funny. Oh man, but yeah, like it made me think like how many ridiculous situations. Like I could be downtown in a social environment with all my friends, going to a bar or something like that, and suddenly my phone vibrates. And, there's a Pikachu 2 bars down the road and be like, guys, I gotta go. like how many stupid situations could you be in where that happens? Or you go to the beach and you're just like, oh, wait, there's something down there. I'll be right back.
I think we're about to find out.
You really are. Like, this is going to be interesting. I mean, that aside, I've heard really bad things about it. Like, I've heard a lot of people saying it's not that good. So I'm trying to I'm trying to lower my expectations. I think I'm gonna love it, but
I think people are expecting like a 3DS Pokemon game for their phone.
Yeah, that will not happen for years if it does.
That's the thing that people keep looking at. Like, and I genuinely think it's because they're looking at it all wrong.
Right.
They're expecting something way different, and I appreciate what they're looking for. I think like a Pokemon game where you are the trainer is the way to go eventually, but I think the keyword there is eventually.
Right. This is just going to be the first out of the gate Pokemon on iOS that nothing really. I mean, there's been Pokemon games like Pokemon Shuffle and stuff like that, but not like this. Like, this is cool. Like, you have like 250 Pokemon that you can catch. I'm kind of excited about it.
Oh, they went past the original. I thought they were just sticking to the original 150.
I saw 250.
Nice.
On a list of things. Yeah, I didn't see like the names or anything, but I thought, okay, yeah, they're definitely going beyond the original, which makes sense. Maybe they're just doing like a lot of the popular ones from Gold and Silver. But yeah, so yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait for that to drop. All right, let's see here. We got some BioShock news. Talked a little bit about this last week, and now it's official. The remastered collection is officially announced to be officially released officially on September 13th.
I was like, we've heard all of this except for like, here's the official announcement. So I was like, how many times can we fit officially into this headline?
Yep. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's happening. I can't wait. Like I said last week or whatnot, I've only played a few hours of BioShock. I own the 3rd one on my PC, but I just haven't gotten around to it. And from what I understand, you want to play the first one, and then at least the first one.
Do the first and then the 3rd. You can skip the 2nd. You're not missing much.
Right, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So that's gonna happen. That's great. What else do we got here? The PS Plus games for July have been announced. Fury for the PlayStation 4, Saints Row, Gat Out of Hell for the PlayStation 4, Call of Juarez, Bound in Blood, PlayStation 3, Fat Princess, PlayStation 3. You can go ahead and take the next one out.
Oreshika, Tainted Bloodlines for Vita, and Prince of Persia Revelation for Vita.
For the Vita, there we go. These are PSP games.
Yeah.
They're running out of games for the Vita pretty much, which makes me wonder when the VR comes out if they're going to just like supplement that for the for like a free VR game this month.
I think they'll have to.
Yeah, definitely.
And just one. I'm fine with like just one. That works.
Honestly, remove the PlayStation Vita titles. I own a Vita. I love the Vita. It's one of the best handhelds.
They've been giving away 2 a month for a while now. Aren't they running out?
They really are. It's PSP games now they're giving away for free.
Yeah.
That's the problem with, like, they already gave away Golden Abyss. They've given away all the pretty much AAA titles on it. And then they went and they get, maybe they could do like Persona. Like, that's probably the last big one they'll do probably. 'Cause that's the game that people buy the system for, I think. But it's, I don't know. I think get rid of the Vita. Give me an extra PlayStation 4 game and give me a VR game.
Yeah.
That would be great. It's about that time. You can even take away one of the PlayStation 3 games. Let's be honest, the PlayStation 3 and Vita are dead. They're dead systems. So yeah, give me more PlayStation 4, give me a VR game.
Or start backwards compatibilitying something. Or give away a classic, a PS1 or a PS2 game.
Bingo, 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 bingo. There you go. You just nailed it.
Yeah, give away, like, here's the next, like, 4 PS2 games this month. One of these is free.
Right,
Totally
Rapper or whatever, yeah.
Not that one, I bought that one. Do something different.
Right, or the Star Wars, whatever. Like,
they could have made Fantavision free this month because it's a game about fireworks. It would have been perfect.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool. Have you played Fury at all?
No,
I played a little bit yesterday. It's okay. It's like a twin base or twin stick shooter thingy,
okay.
Sort of, mixed with like dodge through. I don't know. They teach you how to play in the first thing. It's like boss fights pretty much. It was cool. It's a free game, so it was fun. Haven't played Gat Out of Hell. I did play Saints Row 4 though. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these titles. They're nothing looks exciting.
Yeah, I mean, Gat Out of Hell would be fun, but like I don't know. I looked at this and I was like, oh, that'll be kind of cool. And then like, but I know like I'll play that for whatever long it is, like what, couple hours maybe. And it's like, all right, that was fun, probably.
Yeah. I'm kind of bored right now with the PlayStation. Just not any. The only thing that I get on to play really is Overwatch. Overwatch is great. That's the game I can hop in for 10 minutes, hop out. I don't feel like doing Witcher because I've just played so many hours of it. I just want something different. I don't know. I was thinking about Lego Star Wars, but then I thought I don't want to spend $60 on that. Street Fighter, I was thinking about, but I thought the problem with fighting games is I'll play for a few hours and I'll be done. I'll be like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like when I saw Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I was like, I have to have that, and then I got it, and then I was like, all right, now I'm done with it. Like,
right.
It's the same thing every time. It doesn't matter what the game is. It's like, this looks like an amazing fighting game that I'm gonna play for 3 hours and then probably never touch again.
Yeah, and I can't justify spending that amount of money on it, and
yeah.
it's the same thing with the Lego Star Wars. Like, I can't justify it. When those things drop to $20 to $30, I'm in. But it just hasn't happened yet. So
yeah,
right now I'm in this weird, like, there's nothing I want to play except Overwatch. A lot of my friends are playing Destiny and stuff, but I can't play that anymore. Like, nope, not until there's something new. I just can't get into it. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm in a holdout pretty much until like No Man's Sky at this point.
Yeah, summer's kind of the doldrums for video games.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Like, I know there's that Ninja Turtle game, but yeah, it doesn't look fun. I mean, it's weird. Lego Star Wars is the only one that's. I was like, oh, IGN gave it a 9. Because a 9. I'm like, are you kidding me? Apparently, they do a lot of different things. Like, there's a behind cover, like almost like Gears of War, where you're shooting at the enemies. There's like boss fights, and there's a like aerial battle where you're Poe Dameron and your X-Wing fighter. Like, apparently they changed it up so much. They said the demo's garbage. There's like, if you play the demo, you're going to be bored to tears. But the actual game is really fun, and they've done a lot of new different things in it, and I was like, I just can't justify that $60 for a Lego game.
Yeah.
Especially when I can go and play like Batman 3 because I have that, and I bought that for like $8. So if I want that itch, I can go play that and unlock a bunch of characters. That's what's really fun about it, is unlocking everything.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see what other news we got. Ubisoft company nominates 2 new members to its board of directors, increasing the membership and making a takeover from Vivendi harder.
Yeah, basically what Ubisoft is trying to do is not, they're not talking about replacing people on the board of directors. They're talking about just adding 2 new people and increasing the number of members to try and counteract Vivendi buying up more shares so it can have more influence.
Right.
Let's not forget, Vivendi used to own Activision before it bought its way out for $8 billion.
Wow.
So Ubisoft, like this is just kind of continuing a trend of, like, it looks like Vivendi is not really a company anybody wants to be a part of.
No, definitely does not sound like it.
And I mean, I don't know, like, there's kind of a little Assassin's Creed story going on here in the Ubisoft boardroom, and I don't know, like, it's kind of interesting.
Oh yeah.
Like, something like this usually would not ever interest me at all, but, like, I don't know, this just kind of seems oddly fascinating.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know why.
Oh yeah. All right. I don't think we have any more video game news.
I think that's it.
Okay. So, let's get into, well, what other news we got here?
We got a little strange news. We'll get the weird one out of the way first.
Okay.
Did you see the DC KFC comic?
Oh, I saw an article about it, but I didn't actually read it.
It's free on Comixology. And you know what? It's not terrible. Like,
That's awesome.
It's ridiculous and it's bizarre and it's just, and it's like, oh my god, this is tremendously corny, but it's surprisingly not a bad comic.
Yeah, that's that's what I was looking at. It looked ridiculous.
Yeah, and it embraces that. Like, it's not trying to be like, we have to save the secret recipe. It's in a serious way. It's like, we know this is Super Friends level goofy, so let's just freaking run with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll check it out. I didn't know it was free. I saw the Kotaku article about it, so I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's free, and it's worth, it's a few minutes to read it. Like, it's fun. I don't know why they've decided to have a KFC multiverse, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not the worst corporate tie-in thing they've ever done, so that's a plus.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things you look at and you're like, really? A kernel core? Really? They did that? You're like, yeah, you know what? They actually kind of did. And I love the story is called, I think the story is called Crisis of Infinite Kernels or something.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's because and it harkens back to when Colonel Sanders and the evil Colonel Sunders clashed on the kernels of 2 Earths.
Wow.
Oh.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, it's like that hurts. Like, it actually kind of hurts, but it works. Like, it understands it's silly, so it doesn't try to hide from it. It's like, okay, sure. Why not? They even have a chicken colonel because nobody thought that one through.
Yeah.
who is helping track down part of the secret fried chicken recipe, and I'm just thinking,
ridiculous.
You know what? I don't even want to know. I'm not gonna ask. I don't care.
That is ridiculous.
But I don't know. So that was a thing.
Go ahead and take the next one.
Yeah. So at Comic-Con this year, as part of Nickelodeon's big presence, they're doing a live one night only Double Dare event, and it will be hosted by Mark Summers. And that's gonna be. I would love to go to Comic-Con this year just to see all the Nickelodeon stuff. Like, they're doing this. They're having a 90s reunion panel. They're doing a Nicktoons specific panel. They've got a women in animation panel. Like, they've got a big presence at Comic-Con this year. Instead of just like, hey, we're here promoting Ninja Turtles because that's our thing, and like maybe one other small panel somewhere. Like, they're having a big thing this year.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, that would be, that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
I think it'll be cooler than the giant bronze Captain America statue that Marvel's bringing.
That looks awesome.
I like that thing. Does look cool. I'll give it. That thing does look really cool.
That's gonna be cool in New York City, I think. Oh yeah.
It's I don't know. You know, I would love to see them put it like just right out on the street so somebody could caption it "Hail Hydrant."
Right.
Like just to be a dick about it. Like I think that would be really funny.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we gotta take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get into some reviews. We'll see you guys all in a minute. You're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Be right back. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And now we're gonna get into some reviews. What do you want to do first? You want to do the movies? You want to do the book?
I want to do something that's not on the list here because it just came today because it was finally in stock. The revived High Sea Ecto Cooler.
Oh, okay.
I actually got some. It came today. I threw it in the freezer when I got it. It is cold. I've just opened it. I've not had a drink of this yet. So here we go. A world first for me, anyway. Yep, that'll do.
Yeah, tastes good.
Tastes like the old Ecto Cooler. Very nice. Well done. So at least there's one thing about the new Ghostbusters film that isn't a colossal disappointment.
You got it off Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Came in cans?
Yeah, and it was like $7, I think, for a full, what is it, like 12 or 16, I think.
Well, that's cool.
It's a good price. I think it's 14. Like you would expect them to charge a ton for those.
Right. I think they overcharge for Surge. I think that was more expensive, but the cans are bigger.
They used to they did when you could find it before the official relaunch.
Oh, okay.
That was when it was expensive as hell.
Right.
But yeah, then it was. But they brought it down because I got a case of that too. I got the ultimate '90s nostalgia box today. I got a case of the High Sea Ecto Cooler, a case of Surge, and 2 boxes of Rice Krispies Treats cereal.
It sounds like it.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, Rice Krispie Treats cereal. Is that they came back out with that?
It's available on Amazon, but it's only available through Amazon. It's official. It's not like some bootleg something or else.
Oh wow.
It's official through I forgot the Rice Krispies parent company, Kellogg's. I'm pretty sure it's Kellogg's. Sorry,
wow.
I just had a total brain fart. But it's it's the real deal. But it's not in stores. It's only, at least I haven't seen it in stores. It's only through Amazon.
Oh wow. Yeah, I gotta check that out then.
So.
Man. All right, so let's get into reviews. All right, let's see here. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the book. We'll get that out of the way.
Okay.
What did you think of it?
It was weird. A lot of jargon. What would you call this? This is like cyberpunk, right?
Yeah. This would definitely be like a precursor to cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. Is this an old book?
Yeah, 80s, I think.
Yeah, I could tell,
late 70s, early 80s, I think.
They're talking about ROMs and stuff like that. It just seemed like this was the Matrix before they made the Matrix.
Right, I think that was the idea. And
right.
It got so bogged down in jargon. This is why I couldn't read a lot of other Star Wars extended universe books.
Yeah.
Because they would do the same thing with planets and names and aliens, and I was like, God, I can't follow all this crap.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I got from it. But I could see. I knew it was an older series. I just didn't know how old, and now it makes a lot of sense because you see a lot of this and a lot of sci-fi coming out of it, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if this was set all before that, it makes total sense.
Yeah, this was 84. It was published.
Oh, okay. So then it came out after Blade Runner. That was the next one. I was gonna say.
Right, but I'm not sure. Like, it was published in '84, but I'm not sure exactly when it was written.
Okay, so okay, yeah.
So it could have predated it by a couple of years.
Yeah, but yeah, it was cool. I don't know what else really to say about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got totally lost in a lot of it.
I was right there with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, your turn. Pick something better.
Okay. Well, kind of stay in the same thing I did last time. I was either gonna do Hackers or a book called All Your Base Are Belong to Us. Now, do you know what that's a reference to?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the game, but it's an old English thing from an NES game.
Yeah, from Zero Wing.
Zero Wing, that was it.
Yeah. And I don't know. I looked at a list of like best games about video game history, and that was like top 3. I was either gonna do that or like a Dungeons and Dragons, like the history of Dungeons and Dragons, like how all that came about, and how that was integrated into video games. A book called Dungeons and Dreamers. So, out of those 3 books, I'll let you pick one of them.
We'll just go ahead and do All Your Base Are Belong to Us.
Okay, so we're gonna do that, and let me get the.
No, you know what? Screw it. Let's do Dungeons and Dreamers. We'll break a little. We'll do that.
Okay, we're gonna do Dungeons and Dreamers, and it is by. Where is it at? Let me pull it up. I'm sorry. It's by somebody. Hold on.
Thank God for that.
Why doesn't it? Okay, David M. Ewalt. So.
Spell that.
Ewalt.
Ewalt. Okay, sure.
Yep. So yeah. So it's about the guy who created God, I gotta pull this up. Hold on. Sorry, I didn't have that one ready.
You're looking for a Gary Gygax, I think.
Gary Gygax and
there was I can't remember the other guy's name.
The guy who did Ultima Online.
Yeah.
The Ultima games.
Yeah,
Gary.
crap. Because he was in. They talked about him in Masters of Doom too.
He went to space. Yes.
Yeah.
That guy. But yeah, so it's all about that, and it's all like just about how like, you know, every RPG we play today, mostly, has D&D in it. You know, when you roll the dice and stuff. Same thing in a video game. When you go to hit something, there's a percentile chance and stuff like that. A lot of RPGs just take exactly from that. So yep, that's the book. That's the one we'll read this week. Quick, man, tell me about your movies in Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, Mighty Number 9 plays like a fairly generic Mega Man game. It's not, it doesn't suck. It's not great. It's like if you had $20, okay. I feel bad for everybody that kickstarted it because this is tremendous. It's underwhelming. That's the perfect word for it. Is completely underwhelming.
That's what I've heard from virtually everyone.
Yeah, it's
like it was pitched as a Mega Man game, but it doesn't come anywhere close.
Well, I mean, you get it plays like a Mega Man game, but I mean that's not saying much.
Gotcha.
You know.
See, I've never been in a Mega Man, so I did not know.
Well, I mean, it's a side scroller where you play as a robot that shoots out of his arm and you fight other robots. Like, I mean, that's a Mega Man game. It's a platformer. Like but it's not engaging. It's not interesting. It's
right.
It just is, and that's sorry. Disappointed. Very disappointed.
Yeah, I heard it just looks like almost like a Flash game. The way they did the animation, the way they did the audio is just
kind of yeah.
And,
that's fair.
Yeah, but they didn't have enough money to do it like the sprites or whatnot like they used to do.
Well, that's because they tried to do it for every single platform, literally.
Right.
Bummer.
All right, so tell us other movies. We don't have that much time.
Independence Day Resurgence is like what happens if 8-year-olds who saw the first one immediately went out and sat in a sandbox and played with toys like they were making What Happened Next.
Okay.
That's exactly the best way to describe it, and it ends on exactly that same kind of note, you know. So
well, tell me this: does it end on a cliffhanger, like we're gonna have a third one?
Yes.
Oh, see, I knew they were gonna do that.
Yes. And it's like you will come away with this thinking kids wrote this.
Do they leave it open for Will Smith to ever come back?
No, he's dead.
Are we sure? Did they have his body?
Yes. They've done a whole thing of like, oh no, he died during a test flight. He's dead. He's gone. He's not ever coming back.
It wasn't like his test his aircraft went in and poofed into some wormhole or anything like that? They have his body. And
No, it smashed into the ground and exploded. He died. And
well, they exploded, so they didn't get his remains.
He's dead.
God, see,
they covered that on the website, like in like all the little tribute videos and stuff they did, like all the press hype. Yeah, that was part of it. Like, no, he's dead, and his in movie kid is about as charismatic as his real life kid.
Oh, that's horrible.
Now You See Me 2 was fun. It didn't have quite the heart of the original, which kind of made me sad, but it was still enjoyable. The Conjuring 2 was creepy as hell.
Oh, it was good, right?
It was good.
Yes.
And Central Intelligence was really funny. Central Intelligence is definitely worth a watch, and Kevin Hart and The Rock need to be in more movies.
Oh, yeah.
They worked really well together.
Hey, they're doing Jumanji.
Maybe not that one.
Why not?
I'm against a Jumanji remake. I don't care who's involved. I'm against it on principle.
We're not the audience for that movie.
I know.
It's just like the Goosebumps to me. I actually saw that over the weekend again with my nephew and niece. They loved it. They're like, oh my god, it's a snowman. Like they absolutely loved it. I kept thinking, yep, this is what The Rock and I mean, if they're good at Central Intelligence, same chemistry in Jumanji would be fun, right?
Yeah, I guess. I have no problems with them. I'm sure they will do well and it'll be fine. It's just principle.
You know what I want? I forget that movie, but imagine like a Jumanji, but they're in space.
Zathura, they did that. It was awful.
Yes, but do like a newer version of that. Cool. Zathura, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Zathura. Yeah, they did that.
Okay, well, there we go. Someone already thought of it.
Yeah, it's like 15 years ago and it was terrible.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we got to go. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Go to our Facebook group, like us, share, all that good stuff. Email address is wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. Twitter is @WeGeekPodcast, @TheLoganWitt, @AdamEstep. And I'm getting a lot of follows by you guys, so that's been great. But yeah, man, we'll be back next week, 9 o'clock Wednesdays, of course. Captain.